So, one of my earliest teenage obsessions was skincare. Instead of looking at toys in the kids section at the store, I was looking at moisturizers in the skincare section. As I grew up and navigated my sexuality, I saw that most of the beauty industry was aimed at feminine women, sometimes at masculine men, but everyone else was left out. It wasn't for someone like me. With Surf Labs, I wanted to create a fun skincare experience for everyone. I'm pretty sure your skin doesn't care how masc or femme you are or who you love, but I'm absolutely sure you need to take care of it. Check us out at surflabs.co, SERVELABS.co, and you can also find us on Instagram and Twitter at surflabs. Hello, welcome to He's Hot, but something is off. Just gonna do that intro a little bit differently every single time I do that intro. Today, as I record this, it's a Sunday afternoon. We got quite a bit of rain last week, just in LA here, and it's quite sunny today. It was 72 and sunny, so just normal LA weather. You know, I usually record this on a Tuesday night or a Wednesday night. So it's like a little weird that I record this on a Sunday. And by the way, make sure you are listening to my other podcast that I have, the Gay Cruise and Travel podcast. This week, it's about the best places on a cruise ship to book your stateroom in. Wait, let me repeat that. So it's basically the best parts of the ship, like the front, the middle, the back, which decks, etc., are like the best and worst places for you to book your stateroom. Because, you know, there's certain parts of the ship where it might be noisy or like it's like further away from certain things you want to be close to. So that was this week's Gay Cruise and Travel podcast episode, which, as I'm speaking to you now, I haven't recorded yet. That's what I usually record on the weekends or on Sundays, because that one usually goes on Monday. So usually on the weekends, I'll record Gay Cruise and Travel podcast. So I'm going to record that right after recording this. But I wanted to record HHBSO now because I just went to do a bunch of grocery shopping. So usually I'll go to Trader Joe's coming back from the gym. So where my gym is, Crunch, West Hollywood. There's a Trader Joe's just downstairs, and usually I'll buy a little bit of groceries as I need them after a gym session. So I've got a very cute mini reusable shopping bag that I keep in my gym bag. It's just enough for a small little bit of groceries. It's like you can fit some meat, some eggs, some bread, a small amount of vegetables, and then like that's it. It's the bag that I just always keep in my gym bag so that, you know, because I like half the time when I go to the gym, so that's like 3 days of the week, I will just swing by the Trader Joe's on the way home, just whatever I'm low on. But once in a while, I'll need to just hit up some other stores. So today I actually drove to Trader Joe's, then I went to Pavilions, then I went to Whole Foods. I was supposed to go to a CVS and I just forgot until I got home. I was like, oh, I was supposed to pick up something at CVS. But anyways. And the thing about being out and about, with grocery shopping, in this example, is I have this pet peeve that it's extremely annoying to me when people are not looking where they're going. I must have talked about this on a previous podcast. We're up to almost 100 episodes. We're like 90. This is like the 93rd episode. Something like that. It's like, I must have talked about this before, but this is so annoying. And it's one of the reasons I don't like going out to any kind of shopping, like in-person shopping, like a shopping center, a shopping mall, grocery store, like any retail establishment. It's like people are like people are just never looking where they're going. They're looking at the stores, they're looking at the displays, looking at clothes, they're looking at merchandise, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't do that. I thought usually in a store, just like look at stuff that I may or may not want to buy, like this window shopping idea, or like, yeah, I don't, it's very rare for me to do that. If I'm actually in a physical store, it's because I kind of know what I want and I'm not browsing and I just want to buy it and get out. I feel like Millennials are like kind of the first generation because they grew up with the internet. And it was kind of sort of during the millennials era where like online shopping, they just got, well, I'm a millennial, that we got really accustomed to online shopping because it kind of sort of like started taking off kind of when we were like in high school, like in our teens or like in our early 20s. So we kind of sort of like were the first generation to grow up with pervasive online shopping where you can kind of buy almost anything online. And I feel like the newer generations are probably even like more into that because like ever since they were born, there's been online shopping for like anything. So I feel like newer and newer generations are less and less used to just shopping for things in person, like browsing for things in person. And because they're just so used to just buying things online. So maybe some of that has affected me in the sense that like I just love buying things online. The only thing that kind of sucks about buying things online is the amount of cardboard boxes and like packaging you have to like recycle and haul out to the recycling dump or whatever, or like the amount of cardboard boxes you have to like break down. So all that kind of stuff. That's like the only annoying thing about online shopping. Anyways, my thing about shopping in person is like it feels like God purposely have people that are not looking where they're going and just like points them at me when I'm out and about shopping for anything. Doesn't matter if it's for like for milk or for clothes or for toiletries, like anything. I'm always running into people. Like the other day, this is like, I don't know, a month ago, I was just walking to the gym. So I go up, there's a set of escalators, but the Crunch in West Hollywood is it's like a level above, it's on the second level. But it's just like this outdoor escalator. So I go up the escalator, take a right, the gym is right there. And the path, like the pathway between the escalator and the door to the Crunch, I don't know, it's probably like 12 feet across. A lot of room. 12 feet across for like, you know, a passageway is like a decent size. But these two people, a guy and a girl, the guy was like on the far left and the girl was like kind of close to where I am. And then I'm keeping right, but I'm making room for them. I'm so far on the right, my duffel bag was gonna like scrape the wall for over this like 12-foot wide passageway. And this girl like runs into me. Your podcast app, your phone didn't crash, your podcast app didn't crash. It's just like, I'm still so shocked. When there's this wide ass space and you squeeze someone against the wall and you bump into them, like you guys gotta be watching the video version of this podcast, which is available on my YouTube channel, Just Joey T. Honestly, just watch it for like the facial expressions. I'm like a very animated person. It's like I wear my emotions on my sleeve, very much that. And there's another time where this is also recent. Same gym, same area. I was finished the gym and got down the escalators. And then at the bottom of the escalator is kind of sort of like the lobby-ish kind of area. There's like a Starbucks on the side. And there's this kind of sort of like super wide, it's like this super wide open area where you go from like the escalators to the stairs before you hit like the sidewalk, right? And I don't know, it's gotta be like 20, 30 feet across, like literally. It's like this big, huge, you can't even call it a passageway, it's so wide. And I was like way, way, way off to the side because I wanted to like put my jacket on. So like I was like way off to the side. Like I took my duffel bag, my gym bag off, grabbed my jacket out of it, was like putting my jacket on. This guy walks by me, like he had like 20 feet to his right where he could have walked, where it was completely effing empty. And he like hits me with his arm. Like, what is going on? Like, I don't get people that, like, the act of walking is difficult for them. I feel so sorry for them. They must be like legally blind, have a disability, they got a balance disorder. Like, I don't know what it is. Is it me, or like, do the three of you that's listening to this, are you in this situation like recurringly? Honestly, I feel like God is setting me up. It's like over and over. Today wasn't so bad. sometimes I have to remind myself, you know what, Joey, I think you are just a little too particular about this issue. You should just don't put so much thought and anger and focus into like jumping out of other people's way. But I always feel like, like when you go down a narrow hallway or whatever it is, it's like someone's coming your way, you're walking too. It's like you give each other space. Like, am I overthinking it? It's like, we both want to like pass through this, whatever space this is. Like, we gotta both give each other space. Like walking down a sidewalk, like I walk to and from the gym all the time. It's like sometimes people do it, sometimes people don't. It's like we have to share the sidewalk. Do you want me to just like disappear? So sometimes I don't get it. But I was just coming back from the Whole Foods and I was like, you know what? You are just working yourself up. Like these negative thoughts and emotions are of your own doing. You just don't have to jump out of everyone's way. So I'm just gonna do that. Like the stupid bitch that like, they had so much space on that side. Like I was right up against the wall. It's like, how can you run into me? She wasn't even on her phone. They were just talking to each other. It's like, she must be legally blind. Like 100%. Legally blind, balance issues. She must have injured her foot at the gym. Like there must be some reasonable explanation just besides being like dumb and stupid. There has to be. Okay. I'm going to cut myself off because I don't want this to just be rants. But sometimes I think, like, is it just me? Like, it has to be, right? Like, I don't know. I just don't like it when it's always, like, someone on a phone, talking on the phone, looking at the phone, like, whatever. There have been times, once in a while, I will yell at a car. Like, as a pedestrian, I'll yell at a car. Like, this other time, I was on the sidewalk, and, like, this guy was in a car coming out of a driveway. The car was like slowly rolling forward and like he's on his phone, but like the car's like very slowly rolling forward. It's like creeping forward and like I'm right there and I'd be yelling at him. It's like, get off your phone and drive. And then he looked up and then he stopped his car. Like at least just press the brakes, like if you really need to check your phone, like just don't move. Like don't be, I've got my tea here. I'm going to drink some of my tea. It's getting warm in here. God. Okay. Can we just switch it? Let's just switch. Oh my God. One of these days, I'm just gonna effing lose it. Most of you probably have a facial cleanser and moisturizer already, so I want to tell you about Shield and Slay DP, which is an anti-pollution hydration spray I formulated specifically for my skincare line, Serve Labs. This is actually a product I've been looking for years now and haven't been able to find on the market, which is something that was a hydration spray but also has anti-pollution, antioxidant properties for your skin. Shield and Slay DP is the ultimate double protection defense for your skin, teaming up antioxidants, probiotics, along with hydrating ingredients to fend up environmental stressors and aggressors. You can use it as part of your daily skincare routine, but I've also designed it so you can use it while you're out and about, on an airplane, or whenever your skin feels dry, dull, or a bit worse for wear. All you have to do is spray it on. Check out Shield and Slay DP along with the rest of the Serve Labs skincare lineup at servelabs.co, servelabs.co, and you can also find us on Instagram and Twitter at ServeLabs. Okay, let's switch topics. I want to talk about comments on the internet, specifically my existing approach to comments. So like my social media, my YouTube, my whatever stuff that I post, and how I think I want to maybe like change it a little bit. So we all know internet comment sections are maybe not the most friendly places. And even online forums, online discussion threads, like places like Reddit, for example, are, you need like a little bit of like a thick skin sometimes. And I've learned as a content creator a long time ago to like just basically not really go into the comments. It's like, I'm going to post this thing. I'm going to check it myself. I'm going to like it. I've never really been posting anything that's like particularly controversial. So I feel like if I think it's okay, like it goes up, it's fine. And yeah, I've been doing that for, over a decade now. However, I feel like I'm at a point of my content creation, like I do OnlyFans. I have a lot of followers on Twitter now where I've got more fans now, not that I'm like popular or famous by any stretch of the imagination. And I'm always telling everyone that listens to my podcast to comment below. But if I'm gonna tell people to comment on my stuff, but then I have this mindset that I'm just ignoring comments, it's like, okay, like what's the point? So I'm gonna try to like not ignore the comments by subconscious default, like I have been for like the last 10 years, and selectively engage in the comments. I feel like any one of my videos or posts that like for some reason gets a lot of views, there's always going to be haters that are out there. And when I was like many years ago, I did the thing where like I try to like spar with the haters in the comments, and like I did it once or twice many years ago, like, and it's like it is just not the thing to do. It's not helpful for me. It's not helpful for them. It's just trolling. So yeah, I am going to basically make more of an effort to like, if someone leaves me like a nice message or like a constructive message, not just like some random faceless troll on the internet, not something that's just like derogatory, not something that's just like an attack. Doesn't mean I'm going to respond to like every single comment, but like I feel like it's okay to like selectively read what you want to read in the comment section of stuff that you post. And I think it's also okay to moderate the comments on your own content. So if you post something on Instagram or YouTube or TikTok or wherever it is, if it's your post and like your account, your profile, your channel, I feel like you can moderate it, however you want. You can delete any of the messages that you don't like. You can reply to the ones that you like. And it's like, it's your page, it's your channel. You can do whatever you want. So yeah, so I think I'm gonna do that. But it just occurred to me, like I'm asking all of you to comment down below for like, I sometimes at the end of a podcast, I'll ask you, what do you think about this? Like just now when I did my rant, I was like, is God pointing people who don't pay attention to where they're looking at you too? Or is it just me? Comment below. So what kind of sort of triggered me to want to talk about the comments is that I more recently, over like the last year or so, I'm getting people, they just want to say thank you. And they just want to leave a note to say that they appreciate my content or that, my information helped them out in some way. And I don't want to make it seem like I'm ignoring them or that I'm not thankful, because I really am. But it's just been my default mode that I built up many years ago to just not look at the comments, because I feel like very generally the comments can get real ugly real fast. However, I think this is like a new balance that I'm going to try to hit, because I'm starting to get regular comments, which again, I'm like, it's super great to have people that are like listening to my podcast and like consuming my content. Hey, I feel like it comes a little bit with the territory of being a content creator. If you're going to put your thoughts and opinions and your content out there, it's kind of sort of subject to people's like views and opinions. And I do want to acknowledge the people that are giving me compliments and showing their appreciation for my content. So it's going to be a bit of a learning curve for me. But if you left like a message to say like thank you or to let me know that you appreciate it and I didn't respond, it's not because I hate you. It's not because I don't care about the people that follow me and consume my content. It's only because by default, like it's not any part of my brain currently that's like, oh, you should check your comments. It just never enters into the equation. It's not a part of my workflow at any point of the day or as part of my content creation. I don't want to call it a career because I'm not. Anyways, it's not part of my content creation workflow or my social media, interactions to like check comments, because I just learned so long ago, like the comments get real ugly. I don't need to engage. And but back then I only had like 2 people watching my videos. Now I have like, I don't know, 20K. I think I'm at 19K-ish, 19 or 20K followers on YouTube. And I don't have that many people following me, but like there's enough people following me and that they consume my content that, I feel like they should be acknowledged. So I'm going to try to do that. So there you go. I'm going to drink my tea. I'm still feeling real warm from that first part of the podcast. Hold on. Honestly, what is it going to take? What is it going to take for people to stop walking into me that are not looking where they're going? I have to like literally just fully get off of that. All right. To wrap up today's podcast, and the rest of this podcast is kind of sort of optional, if you will, I'm going to talk a little bit about the most recent episode of RuPaul's Drag Race Season 17, which was episode 10, which was the Villains Roast. Because I watch Drag Race, I follow it, I catch it every week when it comes out on like the Friday or sometimes on the Saturday. And this particular episode, me and David, for example, had like a lot of conversations about it, and I have some like, I have thoughts. Let's put it that way. If you don't care about Drag Race, that's fine. Feel free to tune in for the next episode of the podcast. Feel free to just drop off here. But I just want to talk a little bit about the thoughts and feelings I have after watching that particular episode. So here we go. First of all, Anya, character-wise, has not been my favorite queen. Like but great for TV, great for drama. But the thing about on like the second episode where she borrowed, quote unquote, some of the embellishments that Jules had grabbed for herself in that design challenge, I didn't fully agree with the actions. And then Spray Paint Gate, on like the second design challenge, I forgot what episode number, but it was like some number of episodes later, when Lexi had this like blue tarp that she had spray painted outside, and then Anya accidentally, and I really genuinely believe it was an accident, spray paint something else of another color onto that tarp because Anya thought that tarp was literally just a tarp. It wasn't like someone's dress. And that's, I feel like, not a hard mistake to make, honestly. And how like Anya kind of got angry at Lexi for being upset for her dress being ruined and didn't even apologize. I mean, and it's obviously they made it off camera overnight. It's like that kind of stuff for me personally doesn't mean she's a horrible person, but like actions like that don't resonate super well with me personally. She's extremely talented. I really think she's going to be in the top. Like, she's very rounded. Like, her and Sam so far, and I don't think they don't have any obvious weaknesses in terms of, like, the Drag Race challenges, in terms of, like, the competition. There hasn't been any weeks where they were, like, in the bottom so far. And we're, like, 10 episodes in. It's like, we've done a bunch of different challenges. It doesn't seem, they're just so well-rounded. I feel like those two have to be in the top. And I think probably Susie doesn't seem to have that many weaknesses either. So I feel like Susie probably is in the top. Just depends on what challenges are coming up. But anyways, after this episode, especially in the Untucked, I watched I didn't watch the Untucked right after because I just didn't have time. So I just watched the episode, talking to David, and David's like, Untucked kind of changed my mind about Anya's character. And I was like, I don't know, because I don't really like some of the stuff she did that much before. And then I watched Untucked, and I kind of sort of see what David was talking about, because I actually really liked Anya in Untucked for this particular episode because of all the, I mean, in a way, I think it's easy for Anya to just like tell it like it is, which leads me into, and that was kind of why I dislike Anya less after watching Untucked for this episode, because she was just like, she was gathering the girls. She was basically gathering Arietti and gathering Lexi, be like, you two got it wrong. Like, no one's throwing you under the bus. Like, you guys are hating for no reason, basically. I'm sure you've all watched the episode. You know exactly what I'm talking about. The fact that she was so, like, to the facts and just, like, to the point, I kind of appreciate that. For me, it doesn't fully excuse the 2 other incidents that she had with some of the girls. But, you know, it's a bit of a lift. Which leads me to why I think this was one of the best episodes of RuPaul's Drag Race, at least in the US, that I can remember in a few seasons, maybe, honestly. Just in terms of, like, there's so much drama, but, like, I don't think I've ever seen this type of drama on Drag Race before. And that was, like, maybe in season 2, there might have been something similar. Something a little bit like throwing someone under the bus, little kind of backstabby, sabotage-ish type of a thing. I was telling David, there was a secret 9th queen on this episode, and that was the Inner Saboteur. And the Inner Saboteur, she did double duty with Arietti and Lexi Love, because, like, you'd be crazy to think that by the 10th episode, that when someone gets a advantage for the maxi challenge, you'd be crazy to think they're not going to be at least somewhat strategic in terms of leveraging that advantage to their just making things better for themselves, like whatever would improve their own odds of winning that maxi challenge, right? Jules did ask everyone, it's like, okay, like, let me know what position you would like to be in, who you would want to be after or not want to be after. Like, we saw that on camera. That was all on camera. And then Lexi was like, I want to be like first or last or something like that. And she was last. And she was put last. But she didn't like that she was going to be going up against someone. But it didn't seem like, at least from what we saw from the edit, she didn't say like, well, I want to be last, but I don't want to be right after A, B, and C. And, like, she got what she asked for. She was put last, and she was super pissed about it. It's like, I've never seen this where, like, you get exactly what you wanted up front, and you were asked what you wanted in front of everyone, and you got what you wanted, and then you were, like, pissed. I don't understand that. And then, kind of like the same thing with Arietti as well. But the thing is, like, they were so pressed about who they were going after, because the narrative was like, I'm going to suck at this challenge. This is going to make me look even worse. So, like, I feel like they put Jules in an impossible situation that made no sense whatsoever. I don't think I've seen that on Drag Race before, where, like, they sabotage themselves and they got themselves so worked up for something that, like, I really don't think Jules did it on purpose. Was it a little strategic? Yeah, maybe. But like I said, like, by the 10th episode, like, this is a competition. This is not RuPaul's Best Friends race. Have these girls never watched Drag Race before? Like, we're up to, like, it's been, like, what, 17 years now? It's season 17. It's like, it's a competition, baby. It's a competition. Like, I don't think Jules went out of her way to throw anyone under the bus. But, like, she had to put the order together. Is everyone going to get exactly what they want? No, but, like, when you were given exactly what you asked for explicitly, that you verbalized in front of the whole group, and you're still super pressed, and you think she's out to get you, is there some word for this? It's some mix of, like, delusion and, like, inner saboteur, and just, like, I mean, like, they weren't going to do well anyways. And that's why they felt that way. If they thought they were going to be decent at the roast, I don't think they would have felt that way. But the narrative that they had in their heads was, I'm going to suck at this. I'm going to bomb at this. I'm not going to do good. And by putting me after someone who I think probably will do good, that I assume will do good, I'm going to assume that I'm going to look even worse because I assume I'm going to suck at this. This is so like, oh man. It's like, there's no winning against that. Honestly, it would have mattered if it was Jules doing the order. If someone else had done the order, it's like, I don't, yeah. I mean, I already said, because I is very close to Jules, I already thought Jules might be more like, I don't know. It's like, it was very good. It was very entertaining to watch that whole drama, all that drama unfold. It's the first time in a very long time where I watched the regular episode and I was like, I have to watch the Untucked. Like, I can't wait to watch the Untucked. But a lot of times the Untucked is like, yeah, I mean, there's maybe a little bit of juicy stuff in the Untucked. Remember when back in like seasons like 3, 4, 5, like the early season where the Untucked was like, so good, so much drama. Really, like you're only getting half the story if you didn't watch Untucked. Honestly, for episode 10, was starting to veer almost back like to where that was. I mean, there wasn't any like super juicy drama that was specific to Untucked in this episode because the drama kind of originated from the workroom. But it was like, it was just so good to watch. Like from this perspective of like a fans, just we want to see some drama, when it was seeing the entertainment, it was really good. It's one of the best episodes. And it was nice, they had like their little like kumbaya moment at the end and they made up, which was nice. But it was like, I saw that craziness, that inner saboteur, just like with Lexi and with Ariadne, it's like, oh my God, I've never seen this before. And it's like, ooh, the girls are fighting. The girls are fighting. So it's one of the best episodes. So me and David had a lot of thoughts about that. Okay, now let's get into. We're getting into. By the way, we're 10 episodes in, and there's still 7 queens remaining. This is gonna be the longest episode ever. David and I started talking about predictions for who we think are gonna make like the top 4 or top 3 or whoever. And next week is going to be some sort of an acting challenge, maybe like an overacting soap opera type of a challenge from the preview at the end of the last episode. And yeah, there are some girls, there are a couple of girls that haven't knocked the previous acting challenges out of the park. You and I probably both know who those are already. And we think, if it's like a big acting challenge, they're not going to make it. I hate to say, I don't think Lexi's gonna make the next episode because from RDR Live and also from Snatch Game and then from the roast, I don't know if she's gonna be able to like get out of her head enough to be able to like deliver the lines and actually act out a character. Because, yeah, I just don't have that confidence. But another girl that pleasantly surprised me this time was Lana, because I might have said in the previous podcast episode that I thought Lana was just taking up space, but I'm really pleasantly surprised that to see Lana show talent that we haven't seen in like the first like 7 episodes, because she was in the top at the roast, which is great. She was generally funny. She had like good delivery, good timing. So it's great to watch. I really loved it. And she was safe like the last 1 or 2 episodes before that. But, for like the first like 6 or 7 episodes, she was kind of sort of like hanging around the bottom. So I was like, okay, like 6 or 7 episodes in, like you're constantly in the bottom, like you got to beat it. But it seems like she's, I don't know, maybe something's changed, or she's like just like getting out of her head more, or she's just like letting loose more, or she's more comfortable now. Or maybe it's challenges that, like we did 2 design challenges and she didn't really do that great, even though she kind of seemed to be a fashion queen. But apparently, comedy and acting is more up her thing. So Lamb is kind of convinced Lana is going to go very, very soon. After this episode, I think I want to see more of Lana because I feel like, okay, looks like you have some other talents. Let's just see. I just hope that you can show more of that before you go. I don't think she's going to make it to the top, though. So who I think is going to be in the top now versus a few weeks ago when I was talking about Drag Race on the podcast, Sam and Anya, I feel like for sure will be at the top, because I just don't think they have any significant weaknesses. They don't have enough weaknesses to put them in the bottom, because they've always been in the top somewhere, or been like very solidly safe. They've never been in the bottom. Okay, and like after 10 challenges, 10 episodes, if you've never been in the bottom, it's like, okay, like not that many chinks in your armor, you know. So I think they will go up to the top. Again, I'm so glad to see Butthole with the win. I actually generally thought she was the funniest in the roast. And the last time I talked about Drag Race on the podcast, I remember saying, I feel like Lydia she has a win in her. I feel like she needs a win. She's been like safe and kind of sort of like a little bit kind of sort of like underdog a little bit. She's like kind of fading to like the back a little bit. So I thought like she has a win in her. I feel like she kind of needs a win. So I was so glad to actually see her have this win, because I feel like it will energize her for like the next at least a couple episodes. I also think, though, based on RDR Live, she's maybe not the best actress. And with this big acting challenge coming up next week, I'm like, maybe it's going to be between, I could see Butthole and Lexi lip syncing at the bottom next week, unless they find some acting chops somehow out of somewhere. But the fact that Lydia did so well in the Rose kind of shows me that, you know what, like an acting challenge is not the same as a Rose, but there are some like similarities in terms of like, you know, you're kind of sort of like performing in a way, like you're delivering lines, right? Like they had the jokes, they have to deliver the lines. It's like acting. There are lines, you have to deliver them. So I'm kind of like cautiously optimistic that maybe she's not gonna be the best actress, but I don't think she's gonna go. I feel like Lexi's gonna go home next week. So Sam and Anya, I feel like are in the top. Susie is kind of sort of like my next one to say. She doesn't seem to have that many weaknesses. Maybe she's not like as well-rounded as like Sam or Anya. But David thinks Susie's gonna go and not make it to the top. I can see Susie making it to the top. And then beyond that, I feel like it's gonna be a bit of a. I think maybe Jules. Like if I have to put it together, my top 4 right now, I think Sam and Anya are gonna be in the top 4 for sure. And then I think I have to go on a bit of a limb. I think maybe Susie and Jules will round out the top 4, which means Lexi and Butthole and Lana are gonna be kind of tossed aside before then. I could, if Lana can ride the momentum she's had, I can kind of sort of, and she has more talent to show. I think it depends on the upcoming challenges. David thinks it's going to be like preordained, that production is just going to get rid of whoever they want in the upcoming challenges. David doesn't think that the upcoming challenges, before we get to the finale, is going to matter in terms of like who's going to go home. I don't think that. I think depending on what challenge it is, you know, different challenges will expose different weakness in the different girls that are remaining. And based on that, like for example, the acting challenge next week, I feel like Lexi's not going to be strong at that. So that's why I think Lexi might go home next week. But what type of challenges have we seen before that they haven't done yet this season? Makeover challenge, some sort of singing, girl group type challenge. So we got to get rid of at least 3 more queens before we have just 4 queens left. So there's probably at least 2 or 3 more just regular episodes. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what other maxi challenges we have left. But those are my top 4 for right now. If you're watching Drag Race like I am, and a lot of people are, and you have some thoughts, feel free to comment below as well. I would love to see what you are all thinking of the current season. And like I said, I'm going to do a slightly better job of checking my comments and then replying to some of them. So we'll see how that goes. But until next time, bye y'all.